Hi Year 7, welcome back to this really exciting lesson on Black Lives Matter. So, we've already done a lesson on this, which you did absolutely amazing work with. Really, really impressed with how you dealt with such a topical and sensitive issue in this moment of time. So what we're going to do today, we're going to go back to this lesson, recap what we've found out about this subject, and take it one step further by entering or writing a short story for a creative writing competition that's been created by two television presenters, and it's due in July. So let's just start and see where we get with. So, can you remember when we did this lesson? I have added the slides from this lesson that we did to remind you. You don't have to do any of the tasks that we did for this lesson, so don't redo any work. And when you're reminded of it, just skip slide 13. Obviously, you can't do that because I'm not uploading the PowerPoint, but we'll get through it. So let's just have a quick recap. So this is something that you don't have to redo, but just to get you thinking about George Floyd, initial thoughts and feelings that we looked at before. See if this works.
My God.
It's another sad day in America.
Painful to be introduced to George Floyd during his last breath with the cop's knee on his neck. He deserves so much more.
How many black lives have to be taken before something is done?
We are not a threat.
I am shaking as I type.
This has got to stop.
We are sick of it.
With conviction.
I just want us all to live.
Death will not stop until the powers that be are finally held accountable.
Don't look away from the truth until every one of us are free from white supremacy.
The world stands with cops.
Criminalizing and killing of black and brown bodies is not new. It's as old as America. It's just getting filmed more.
Do you know what it feels like to be hunted? To have a new hashtag for a dead black person every single day? How does one plan a life if they aren't sure they will have a life to plan?
Michelle Armstrong, Deborah Davis, Michelle
George Floyd. His name was George Floyd. Say his name.
Say his name.
George Floyd, say his name.
Say their names. Once again, and always, we fight for justice.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Rest in power, beautiful. You didn't deserve this.
Okay, thank you for watching that. Okay, so what you should kind of understand from that video is that this isn't a new thing. This isn't something that's just started happening. This has been going on and on and on for many, many years. And before we move on, I really want to kind of make the point that it's not about having opinions this lesson, although I would like to hear your opinions. But again, it's not about opinions. It's about critical thinking. What is going on in our world at the moment, and what can we do to make it a better world? Okay, a more equal world. So, you know, it's not about opinions. We are critical, independent thinkers, and that is what I want you to take through this lesson with you. Social media versus the news. Do we always get shown the whole picture? You answered this question extremely well before, so well done. Why Black Lives Matter? Why do you think the movement to stop police violence against African American people is called Black Lives Matter? What does it mean to you? What kind of change are activists and others calling for? Again, this was answered very sensitively and well. So good job. Were you surprised to learn that police officers have used force that has killed so many people? What are other ways that racism or other forms of injustice show up in our institutions? So that doesn't necessarily have to be racism. That could also be towards homophobia or sexism as well. There are many forms of injustice which quite regularly show up in our institutions, in our education, our government, business, media, all these different systems in the country and in the world, internationally as well. And what can we do about that? How can we make a more equal world?
That's right. Daddy changed the world. What? He did what? Daddy changed the world. That's right. Daddy changed.
Okay, so this leads on to today's lesson. So today's lesson is concentrating on this creative writing competition that two TV presenters have decided to create. So let's have a look. So yesterday, on the 23rd of June, presenters Angelica Bell and Michael Underwood, which were two presenters that I remember from CBBC when I was a kid, they launched an exciting new 500-word children's writing competition that aims to open up the conversation about Black Lives Matter movement across the nation, in schools and households around the UK. 500 Words is the largest story writing competition for children and was developed by Chris Evans in 2011. Since then, children around the UK have submitted over 1 million stories covering important issues from technology to climate change. So the competition asks children aged 5 to 13 of all ethnicities and backgrounds around the UK to submit a 500-word creative writing piece that explores their personal experience or understanding of how different ethnicities and cultures interact. So this is something personal to you, okay? No matter what ethnicity or background you come from. So your words have the power to change you and the world around you. People can make a change based on their actions. You'll already have encountered examples of this. So the descriptions, the adjectives and the imagery that you use shape your story. So you might remember this from maybe some lessons that we did more towards the beginning of the year when we did some creative writing. But very importantly, you only have 500 words. So that means that while you're writing, you need to make your key moments stand out with similes and metaphors without taking away from the plot. Okay, so this isn't a lesson on language techniques, but if you cannot remember what a simile or a metaphor is, or the difference between them, please, please, please let me know, and I will give you some really good examples on the Teams chat. And I will guide you through that. So please let me know. So your story might be hopeful, inspiring, fun, or angry. Have fun making your characters come to life. So have fun with this, basically. Hope you're enjoying my animations today. Okay. So you might start and restart and come up with many ideas that you whittle down to one. This is all part of the fun. Redrafting is so important for creative writing. It is the most important skill that you can master with creative writing, actually. And redrafting creates something powerful. Okay, it gets rid of the waffle. It gets rid of all that waffle and syrup. It makes something meaningful, powerful, and concise, and that's what we're looking for. So lastly, don't enter to win. Enter because you want your voice to be heard and enjoy storytelling in a way only you can. Everything you can give Everything can give you a creative spark that fires a story. Be unafraid and see where your ideas take you. So be brave. What everybody wants to read is an amazing story, so good luck. I cannot wait to read your stories. So I'm just going to give you some ideas to get those fiery juices going. So what role models do you have? Can you explore their background? I have just watched the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, and I didn't really know anything about Michael Jordan before watching this documentary, but he is, in my opinion, incredible. He is so inspirational, but someone who I never knew anything about. So this is actually a very good opportunity for you to branch out, research some people who you might be interested in, but actually know very little about. Maybe someone else could be Nelson Mandela. Maybe you've heard of him, maybe you haven't, which is fine. But yeah, think about what role models you have. You could unlock your imagination through creating your ideal role model or superhero who fights for justice. This is your story, and you and your characters can be anything you want them to be. That's the beauty of creative writing. Second idea, you could create a fantasy land very different to our own. I know this will be very exciting for some of you. Do you have a dream for yourself, your friends, family and communities? And now's the time to put that dream into words, okay? So think about genre. What genre would you like this to be? Is it a fantasy? Is it real life? What person is it going to be in? What tense is it going to be in? Is it going to be in first person, third person, past tense, future tense, present tense? Think about what might make the most powerful, concise message. How have you seen the world change, and how has your community got involved? Maybe not at all. That's fine. How might that be able to kind of, how can you grow a story out of that? There's no right answer with this, okay? There's no right or wrong. We're critical thinkers about what's going on in the world at the moment, and we are now inspired by this to create an amazingly powerful story. Okay, so don't be scared to get something wrong, because there is no right or wrong. Okay, idea 4. Did you know that people of colour represent over 80% of the world's population? I didn't know this. So some people think the term people of the global majority, or PGM, is better descriptive language when describing this group. This shows the importance of empowering people by using language that reflects reality. Okay, so it's all about getting our voices heard. What is the truth? Okay, here's some tips for you from me. Think about challenges at this moment in time and emotive language. There are many ways to engage with this. For example, through simile, metaphor. How can you hook your reader? How can you show empathy? Remember to check SPAG before submitting, please. I know some of you are very bad at doing this and you've got amazing ideas, but your mistakes when it comes to spelling, punctuation and grammar really bring your work down. Okay, so really make sure you check that SPAG before submitting it to me and before submitting it to the competition. I've just added a link in here. This is some useful information which can help you with your creative writing, so it can enhance those skills. It can give you a few ideas anyway, so check that link out. I've put it on Teams anyway if you need to. So prizes. So from the 13th to the 16th of July, 4 semi-finalists in each age group will be chosen from the stories they receive. The judges will then determine who becomes the 2 finalists and the eventual winner of the final on Friday, 17th of July. So basically, you haven't got long to enter it, really, just a couple of weeks. So the finalists will be invited to attend an exciting day of events with our special guests, starting out at the Version Radio Breakfast Show, with many special surprises to follow. The words of many stories will be read out on air by special guests throughout the competition. Some entries may be turned into podcasts read out by special guests. We may publish 100 stories as a book. So I just copy and pasted this from the competition's website. If you've got any more questions on that, ask me and I'll see what I can find out for you. But this is a really exciting opportunity for us anyway. All right then, so that is basically what I want you to do. I genuinely cannot wait to see what work you produce. I want to see quality, not quality, not quantity. Okay, this is really exciting opportunity, and yeah, I know you're going to smash it. Thanks for listening.